Hi, I'm Sid Marsh, and welcome to Inside View. Today we're going to learn all about Calaveras County's Habitat for Humanity, and with us is Todd Peterson, the president of the board of directors. Welcome, Todd.
Thank you, Sid. It's good to be here.
Well, let's get started. Let's find out a little bit more about Habitat. What is the mission of Habitat?
The mission of Habitat is very simple. We are here to create decent, affordable housing for people in need.
Okay, and the big thing is you build homes. That's your main focus.
We build homes, and we also repair homes.
Okay.
Habitat's been in the business of doing both for almost 40 years now. Habitat for Calaveras, we've built over 16 homes in the last 20 years.
Okay.
Habitat International right now operates in 70 countries around the world, and we are assisting one family with a new home or repair every 4 minutes.
The whole group is
not just us.
Not just Calaveras.
Yeah, we'd be out of business in about 5 minutes.
Well, take us through a typical thing. Somebody needs a home. How does this all happen?
Mm-hmm. Somebody comes to us and says they need a new home. They make an application to us. What we do is we will the way the system works is that we use donated materials as much as we can. We use donated labor as much as we can, and then we will use volunteer labor as much as we can, and we have a zero profit margin. And so what that all means is we build homes that are affordable. And when we say affordable, we mean they come at a price that is much lower than you could get anywhere on the open market. Now, in order for us to do this, we will check their credit references. And then what we will do is we will give them a loan. The loan will be at 0% interest. And it can be, if it's for a new home, it can be for anywhere from 10 years to 30 years. And the reason we can extend it out to 30 years is because then it makes the payments even lower. And so...
now, how do they qualify for this? They have to be a certain...
They come to us and they make the application. We check that they are between what the government describes as low income and down to extremely low income, and that's technically defined as 30% to 80% of the average income in Calaveras County. And if they fit into that category, then we go on and we make sure that their credit is good. We make sure that that if we give them a loan, that debt is not going to overwhelm their income because they have other debts. We make sure that they go through a criminal background check.
Now, are you a cosigner to this, or?
We are not a cosigner, but we are actually a lender. And as a result, we are bound by all of the laws, all of the banking and lending laws of the federal government and the state government. So we have very we have very clearly defined a program and policies and procedures for making sure that the people will take this loan and be able to pay it back.
So you're basically a bank with, say, 16 customers, the homes that you built.
That's actually correct.
Okay.
But we don't just build new houses, we also repair houses. Mm-hmm. So in fact, we're a bank with maybe 2 or 3 or 4 dozen customers. And it sounds kind of interesting that we give people a loan and we insist that we pay it back, but that's the whole point of our program. We don't give away anything for free because we believe strongly in the pride of home ownership. And nobody is proud of anything that they got for free. People are proud of the things that they've worked for and the things they've struggled for. And as a result, they become very good stewards of those homes. They become very good neighbors. They become very good members of the community.
How involved are they in the building of the home?
One of our requirements is sweat equity, which means they have to donate hours. They have to to help build that house. And depending on who they are, it might actually be help building the house. They will be out there with a hammer. They will be out there with a paintbrush. But it doesn't have to be that kind of thing. They have to donate their time, and it can be in community involvement. It can be working in our restore. It can be working in our office and helping out. It can be talking to other prospective homeowners that might want to get involved in this program.
Does the whole family get involved?
For new construction, the sweat equity requirement is 400 hours, and that's for the whole family.
Right.
And that also might include things like classes on how to manage money or financial literacy, how to make sure you're able to pay your mortgage back. And it's important to us that we get paid back for this mortgage, because that's how the program keeps going. If we don't get paid for building this house, then we won't have money to build the next house, and then we won't have money to build the next house, and the whole program stops. So we get a little fussy about this. We make sure that we're paid back both in the mortgage and both in the sweat equity.
So you're not only giving them shelter, but you're really improving their financial situation, their credit ratings and that sort of thing, it sounds like.
Absolutely right. And we have to do that to make our program sustainable. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of pride that's built in this. Sometimes when neighborhoods learn that a Habitat for Humanity home is going to come to the neighborhood, they get a little nervous.
Yeah.
They think it's going to bring in poor people of poor character.
Oh, it's going to ruin the property value.
It's going to ruin the property value. In fact, the property values usually go up, because all these people have been carefully vetted. We do criminal background checks, we do credit checks, et cetera, et cetera. We make sure that they have enough money to pay back their mortgage. We make sure that they're working on that house too, so they really care about that house. These are good neighbors.
So you also have a program where you help improve houses. Tell us a little bit more about that. You already have a house, you can go to you folks and have improvements done.
Absolutely right. We have a home repair program. And again, if you fall into those slots, those income slots between 30 and 80% of the average income in Calaveras County, we can help you repair your house. If your roof leaks, if the house needs to be painted, it needs to be weatherized, we can help out with that as well. And the process is very much the same. We still check their credit. We still make sure that they're able to pay back the loan that we're going to give them.
Sweat equity?
Sweat equity.
Yeah.
For home repairs, it's much less. It's 8 hours, not 400.
Okay.
But it's a lot smaller bill. And then we also make sure that even if you do fall into those income guidelines, it's still affordable. And the way we can make it affordable is we can do a number of things, but the biggest one is we can extend out the loans. So instead of making it payable in, say, 12 months, we can make it payable in over 5 years. And if you're of low income or even extremely low income, that can be a godsend. That suddenly your payment for fixing the roof goes from $200 a month to $50 a month, and that makes all the difference in the world.
How many of these projects do you do a year?
Well, we're very excited about this, actually. We've always had this program, and it's always been going along, but we're a small affiliate, and our resources are limited. We have typically done 5 or 6 a year, but we recently have gotten a grant from the U.S. government, the United States Department of Agriculture, and we've also got some very generous donations from individuals. But they have a big string tied to them, and that is they have to be used for home repair, not new construction. And so we've got about $100,000 in cash in our pocket, and we have to spend that by next fall. And so our program for home repair has been chugging along at about 25 miles an hour. Now it's going to go 90 miles an hour. So we're actively looking for people that need home repairs, that fit into those income guidelines, that can help us with the sweat equity. And we're going to start accepting applications for that on the first of the year, which is just around the corner. How
can people get in touch with you? Give us some information.
They can go to our website, which is habitatcalaveras.org, and there'll be a phone number on the screen. Give us a call. Look at our website. It's easiest to find where we are.
You help them fill out the applications and all that sort of thing?
The way it works is we will send them the application. It's quite a daunting application. It's if you're buying a new house from us, it's just as daunting as going to the bank and asking for it. We're a lot nicer than the bank is, and we don't have to make a profit on it like the bank does, so it costs a lot less. But it will ask you name, address, social security number, who's your current employer, who's your past employer, have you ever had any bankruptcies, do you have good credit, is there anything we should be nervous about, and then we ask some other questions that help us figure out what you want. If you are, you need to tell us, if it's a house, you need to tell us how many people in your family. Do you want a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom house?
Do you have much of a backlog? I mean, of people applying, and if somebody were to apply, how long do you think it would take them to qualify?
Well, since federal law requires that once somebody makes an application and the application is complete, that we have to give them an answer on that application within 30 days. And that answer can be yes, it can be no, it can be we need more information. Now, we always caution people, that's when the application is complete, which means we have to get all the information we ask for, and then we have to track it down. So we have to go to employers and verify employment and other things like that.
That can take a while.
So that can take a while. Once the application is received and completed and reviewed by us, and we've checked out the application and done the credit check and so on and so forth, we call you in, and if things really go well, we say we want to partner with you, and that's what we call it, because we're going to work in partnership to build this. We get to know the family, we explain all the things that have to go on, we make sure that they know how to handle a house, because a lot of people, for most people, this is the first home they've ever owned. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of interesting. We have to work with people to say, this is how you own a house. This is how the dishwasher works. This is how a septic system works. This is what you can put down the septic system. This is what you can't put down. And
all the maintenance that goes
all
into
the maintenance.
It.
This is how you do this. This is how you fix that thing over there. And when we actually give them the house, we'll give them a booklet, and we call it the operations manual. And the booklet will have explanations and booklets, instruction manuals for how to run every appliance in the house. Every house will have solar power.
Oh, they're all solar?
They're all solar, unless it doesn't make sense in the neighborhood we're doing it. You're in the middle of tall trees. It doesn't make much sense. But we will make sure that
you try to be energy efficient as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And if it's a person with special needs, somebody in a wheelchair or other things, we take that into account as well, and we make sure that those special needs are accommodated.
Now, you say you have 16 houses you've built so far.
Correct.
Okay. Are there any good stories about the families once they came in and that sort of thing?
We, whenever we finish a house, we dedicate it, and it's a ceremony that we go through, and it can be incredibly moving what this ceremony is like. And at the end of the ceremony, the president of the board, and that's me, gets to physically hand each family their keys. And at our most recent dedication ceremony, which was this summer in Copperopolis, we dedicated 2 homes for 2 families. And husband and wife, 2 kids. The mother got up and said, when they were first accepted into the program as partners with Habitat, that her son was 5 and in kindergarten. And the kindergarten teacher asked him to write a story about a hero that he knew. And she read to the group what he wrote. And he wrote, my hero is Habitat for Humanity, because they're going to help us build a house that I can feel safe in.
Boy, what more could you ask for?
Well, I will tell you, it's when you're finishing a house, sometimes it gets right down to the end and you're working very hard because you have deadlines to meet. And we had some real big deadlines on that house, and we worked really hard, and we were able to meet them.
Now, who's putting all these deadlines on you?
Well, it can be a
Are these
variety of things.
self-imposed, or are these?
They can be self-imposed.
Right.
Sometimes we'll get grants from the state or from the federal government, and they say the money has to be spent by a certain time. And that was the problem. That was the concern we had with that we were getting a grant from the state, which required to be done at a particular date. But I got to tell you, you get right down to that, and it gets pretty exciting. And I was noticing that there were a number of people getting squirrely. They were getting a little short-tempered. They were getting a little cranky, and volunteers would come in, and I would call volunteers again and again. Oh, do I have to come again? And all this kind of stuff. And I said, boy, we gotta get this done because people are just getting cranky. And I thought they're getting pretty squirrely. And I said, I'll bet this dedication ceremony is really going to help with that. I'll bet that's really going to turn everybody around. And when this young woman read the assignment that her son had written, I started to cry.
Oh, sure.
And it occurred to me that one of those people who was getting kind of cranky was me. and I was so proud of her, and I was so proud of his son, and I was so proud of that family because they had worked so hard, and they got the house that they always wanted.
Now, where are all your houses? Throughout the whole county, or?
We are Habitat for Humanity Calaveras.
Right.
We are limited to build houses only in Calaveras. We have people from Amador who will come to us and say, can you fix my house? We say, we'd love to, but we can't because we are chartered only in Calaveras County. And they're all over the county. The ones we just finished were in Copperopolis. In the coming year, 2018, this summer, we're going to start a build in West Point. And it will be our 5th house in West Point. And matter of fact, on the parcel that we're on, it's actually a larger parcel that's already got 2 houses on there that we've already built. So this is going to be the 3rd house on a parcul that can have 3 houses.
Now, do you buy the land, or do people donate the land? How do you get the actual land?
It can be both.
Yeah.
It can be both. One of our requirements is that who's ever going to live there has to own the property. And they can own the property because they own it, and then we come and build a house on it. Or it can be that we buy the property, we build a house on it, and we sell them both. So it can work both ways.
So you hold title until they pay the house, and then they own the house and the land, and I mean, it's a whole...
Correct. As a matter of fact, usually we'll give them 2 mortgages. One mortgage is for 30% of their income, but no more than that. And so that should be affordable. And then the second mortgage is for the difference between that mortgage and the fair market value of the house. And the way we usually structure it is if they pay off the first mortgage on time, we will forgive the second one.
Oh,
yeah.
Such a good deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that might take 30 years to get there.
Right.
So I can't tell you how often we've done that because we haven't been in business long enough.
And how many of these projects of the repairs do you have going on right now? You were saying.
Right now there are 7 applications sitting on my desk, and I'm going to meet with my homeowner selection committee tomorrow, and we're going to see what we can do about those 7 applications. I got to tell you, I don't know if we can approve all of them, but we're going to try.
So other than grants and that sort of thing, you're also generating money through your Restore, through your events and that sort of thing. Let's talk about the Restore a little bit.
The Restore is a store here in San Andreas that we sell used items from. And they can come from everywhere, and actually sometimes they're not used at all. Oftentimes we'll have grandma bring an heirloom couch or chest and donate it to us, and then we will sell it. But other times, sometimes not even calling us, a semi-truck from Lowe's will show up and say, we've got building materials, we've got sinks, we've got wood, we've got nails, we've got whatever, and they'll give them to us.
You're a great source for, building supplies.
Oh,
I go
absolutely.
there myself, yeah.
I'll tell you, one of our biggest days was a couple of years ago. The Home Depot truck. We didn't even know that the guys at Home Depot stopped and said, we have 200 toilets. Would you like them? You betcha. And they were $200 toilets. and we sold them for about $50 a piece. And I got to tell you, our cash receipts for that month were really good. So yes.
Now you have some new news about the Restore, right?
This is very exciting to us.
Yeah.
Our Restore right now is in San Andreas, but it's got only limited square footage, and it's in an area that you can't see from any major road, and it doesn't have any a lot of parking. Right now, if things work out, we haven't signed the lease yet, but it looks like we're going to be able to move to a new location in San Andreas. If things work out, it will be visible from Highway 49, and if you don't bother to look at our store, I'm going to make you do it, because I'm going to put the biggest sign you've ever seen on the outside. We'll have more square footage. We'll have more merchandise.
I hope you have better hours. I haven't liked your hours.
Right now, we're open 3 days a week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we're figuring that we're going to double our square footage, and we're going to double our rent. We're going to have to double our merchandise, and so this is going to be a very big deal for us. So look for that.
Okay.
When that opens up, and it will probably open up June.
June, okay. So you got 6 months.
But maybe as early as March. And when we open that up, we're going to make sure everybody knows about it. And we need you to come down and not just shop, Sid. We need you to come down, and we need you to bring Grandma's chest.
Oh, okay.
We need
You're
you to
looking
bring
for
the
donations?
couches. We need you to bring whatever building supplies, whatever, and help us out in that regard.
So what other things do you do to generate money?
Well, we wear a lot of hats. We're a construction company, we're bankers, we own a store, but we also raise money. And the way we raise money is from a variety of things. The biggest way is the Restore, because it supplies it's our cash cow.
What part of your budget do you think it generates?
Not as big as I want it to be,
Yeah.
but that's probably 25% of our budget.
That's
of our intake.
good chunk.
We also get grants from a variety of organizations. The biggest one is the federal government. Biggest part of the federal government that gives us money is the United States Department of Agriculture, and you think,
Yeah.
why?
I would think housing or something like that. Yeah.
Because we are considered a rural county, and the Department of Agriculture works with rural counties. And so they have a number of grants that we get involved in. But we also do a lot of fundraising. So every August we have our biggest fundraiser of the year, and that's the Hoedown. We have it in Murphy's Park in Murphy's.
And what exactly is the Hoedown?
Well, that's a good thing. I'm glad you asked that question. The Hoedown is a dinner outside. It's a barbecue, and then we have a band. Usually it's a country western band, but lately swinging in the oldies has been much more popular. And we also have silent auctions involved, and so we get a lot of merchants from town and from the county, and even from outside of the county, will give us materials. A lot of the wineries will give us really nice wine, and then we will put that out for silent auction. And this one we had this past August was the best one we've ever had.
Yeah.
But we're not stopping there. We're ratcheting up our fundraising. Within the next year, we're going to start having a bunco event. We're also going to have a real interesting thing that I had never heard of before recently, and that's a pop-up event. And what that is you get a very good chef and somebody who really knows their wine. And we've made a connection with a friend of ours in Napa, and he's going to come to town, and he is going to set up a pop-up restaurant. So it'll be one night. We don't know where it's going to be yet. It'll probably be for 100 people. It'll be a gourmet dinner, and then we're going to get the wineries to donate wine, and we will advertise those wineries. So you know who's going to be there. So
Right.
You know it's going to be the best stuff. People will come, and it will be a one-night deal. Be 100 people or so, and we'll raise some money with that. We're also going to do car washes. Once the weather gets just a little bit better, we're going to...
I don't know. You can do it now.
Well, I was going to say, just because Christmas was just the other day doesn't mean you can't wash your car. But we're going to try to connect with some folks and do car washes around the country, around the county, rather. And so you're going to see our name popping up a lot between the new Restore, between the fundraising activities, and besides our efforts to get our name in the paper.
So where do you want to see the habitat in, say, the next 2 or 3 years? What do you see down the road?
Typically, we've built one house every other year.
Every other year?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not enough. That's not nearly enough. Typically, we've built we've repaired 5 to 7 houses a year. That's not nearly enough. The need we have in Calaveras County is so great. We're only 2 years after the Butte fire. There are still people who are struggling with that.
That must have been something for you guys.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
You probably got a lot more applications after that.
we did, but it was kind of an interesting thing. You know, a lot of the Butte fire hurt people in all classes of economics, all incomes, own the house, don't own the house, renters, so on and so forth. Our job is to provide affordable housing for people in need. And so when somebody has a house of several $100,000 and is completely insured, you know,
I see.
those aren't the kind of people
Right.
that we serve.
Were any of your houses affected?
What has happened is that people have lost houses that they were renting. Okay, well, we don't do rentals. You have to own the house to be in rent. And so then they move into another house or a house smaller than they used to have, and they're still trying to repair it. So we're still reaching out to those people, and we're still working on those. We're helping them with repairing roofs, repairing siding, repairing decks. And with this new grant from the USDA, we can also help with landscaping.
Really?
And you think, well,
Yeah.
so what? What's the big deal? We got a lot of trees here, and if you got to replant a bunch of those trees, this is a big deal.
Would it cover tree removal with all the bark beetle and that sort of thing?
It has to be related to shelter.
Ah,
So remember, we're habitat.
Right.
So one of the things we can't do is things that's not related to the home itself. We can't rebuild an outbuilding. We can't rebuild a detached garage. But if it's landscaping that's integral to the house, close to the house, in the yard, that's stuff we can take care of. Bark beetles, usually not.
okay. So do you have any pet projects that you'd like to see happen that haven't happened or anything with habitat?
You know, one of the problems that we have is reaching out to people who need what we do. And the reason we have problems with that is because this is a very proud county. People don't like calling us up and saying, hey, I can't fix my roof. Hey, I don't have enough money to do this. Hey, I can't afford a new house. Can you help me? And so what I would really love to have is to have people who know those folks in need, those folks who have a real need and are really struggling and are too proud to call us themselves. I'd love to find a way to have the friends of those people, the neighbors of those people, the relatives, the pastors, the priests.
Have them get in touch with
Have
you?
them get in touch with us. And as a matter of fact, that's where we get most of our referrals, is it won't be the retired couple.
It'll be a friend or a family member.
It'll be the pastor of their church.
Yeah.
It'll be the neighbor. It'll be the daughter who lives in the Bay Area and has come to see her parents and say, something's really a problem.
The big
here."
thing is get in touch with you.
Absolutely.
Well, Todd, thank you very much for being on the show. We've learned an awful lot today.
Well, thank you so much.
And thank you for being here, and tune in next time. This is Sid Marsh. Good night.